Hey everyone, welcome back.
Yeah.
Today we're going to do a deep dive into Lightspeed Commerce's Q3 2025 earnings call.
Oh, Lightspeed.
Yeah, for those who might not be familiar, Lightspeed is a big name in the commerce platform world.
Huge.
Yeah, powering all of those businesses like, those cool shops and restaurants you love.
Exactly. Yeah.
And what's interesting is about a year ago, Daxid Silva, their founder and CEO, came back to the helm.
That's right. Yeah. It was a big deal. There was a lot of buzz going around. Like, would they sell the company?
Right. It was all over the news.
And this earnings call, it finally gives us an answer.
Yeah, puts those rumors to rest.
Exactly.
Okay, so no big sale then.
Nope.
So what's the big news? What's the headline here? What do people need to know?
So they basically looked at all their options, really thought it through.
Do their due diligence?
Yeah, they even talked to potential buyers, pick the tires.
Wow.
But in the end, they decided, you know what? We're going to stay public.
Okay.
We're going to focus on what we do best, double down on their strengths.
Exactly.
I love it.
A good strategic shift.
I love it when companies have that conviction.
Yeah.
But before we get into all of that, how did they actually do this quarter? What are the numbers telling us?
All right, let's dive into the numbers.
Hit us with it.
So revenue came in at almost $280 million,
Okay.
which is a 17% jump from last year.
Solid growth.
Yeah, solid growth. But here's the thing that really jumps out. Their software revenue.
Okay.
That's a key indicator, right?
Absolutely.
Grew by 9%.
Oh,
And that's the highest growth they've seen in the past 2 years.
that's impressive, especially after all the changes and uncertainty they've been going through.
Right.
That's got to be a good sign now.
Yeah, I think it shows that their focus on software is starting to pay off.
Okay.
And, they actually exceeded expectations on profitability too.
Oh, really?
Yeah. They hit $16.6 million in adjusted EBITDA.
Now, I know EBITDA can sound a little jargony.
A bit, yeah. But for our listeners, just think of it as a measure of their core operating profit.
Exactly.
So they're growing, they're becoming more profitable. Sounds like they're in a pretty good spot.
Definitely on the right track.
But they decided not to sell. So where is all this energy and focus going? What's the game plan now?
So Lightspeed is now laser focused on two main areas.
Okay.
Retail in North America
Yeah.
and hospitality in Europe.
Ah, interesting.
So think about it. The stores you shop at, the restaurants you visit,
Yeah.
that's where they want to dominate.
So focus where you're strong.
Exactly.
Makes sense. But what makes these markets so special for Lightspeed? Why not try to conquer the world all at once?
Well, they're calling these their right to win markets.
Right to win.
And I mean, they're not wrong. They already have a strong presence there.
Yeah.
They get the needs of those specific businesses,
Right.
and they've built a really good reputation.
So it's all about maximizing impact where it matters most. Okay, I like it. So they're not going to spread themselves too thin. They want to be the best in these key areas. But it's not just talk, right? They're actually making changes to support this focus.
Oh, absolutely. They've completely reorganized the company.
Really?
Yeah, shifted resources to support growth in those key markets.
So they're serious about this.
Oh, yeah.
What kind of changes are we talking about? Give us the inside scoop.
Well, first of all, they're really ramping up their sales and marketing
Okay.
to win over even more customers in North America and Europe.
Got it.
And at the same time, they're running other parts of the business more efficiently.
Streamlining
Yeah, exactly. Streamlining operations.
to boost those profits.
Exactly.
I'm sensing a theme here.
Focus.
Focus, focus, focus.
Yeah.
Okay, so zeroing in on these two markets, streamlining operations, sounds like they're really committed to making this work. But what does all of this mean for someone who's invested in Lightspeed? What's in it for them?
Well, I think all these changes, the improvements, they're sending a clear signal to investors, Lightspeed is serious about growth and profitability.
Music to an investor's ears.
Exactly.
And that can be a big win for shareholders.
Absolutely.
All right, so we got the big picture.
Yep.
Strong performance, a strategic shift, and a clear focus on the future. But let's zoom back in on those Q3 numbers for a minute. Anything else stand out beyond the top-line growth?
A couple things caught my eye.
Okay.
First, their payments penetration is way up,
Oh, interesting.
which means more businesses are using Lightspeed payments, their built-in system for processing transactions.
Ah, so they're becoming more of a one-stop shop.
Exactly. And more importantly, it means more recurring revenue for Lightspeed.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
So, the more businesses rely on their payment system, the stronger their financial foundation becomes.
That's smart. It's
Wow.
like building a moat around their business.
Exactly.
Okay. What else jumped out at you from the numbers?
Their Lightspeed Capital program.
Oh, yeah, that's the one where they're basically providing loans to businesses, right?
Yeah, and it's seeing some incredible growth.
How incredible are we talking?
Well, revenue from that program has more than doubled so far this year.
Wow. Doubling revenue? That's huge. I guess businesses are always looking for ways to access capital.
Absolutely. Especially these days.
Yeah. And Lightspeed is making it super convenient for them.
Exactly. It shows that Lightspeed isn't just about software anymore.
Right.
They're building this whole ecosystem for businesses.
Oh, wow. I like that.
Yeah, it's a pretty powerful combination.
Okay, I'm starting to see why they decided not to sell. This is way more exciting than just cashing out.
Right.
They're building something big here.
Yeah.
But before we get too carried away, let's talk about something that investors always want to know, the potential risks.
Yeah.
I mean, Lightspeed has had its fair share of challenges in the past.
It hasn't always been smooth sailing.
So what are some of the potential concerns that investors should be aware of?
Well, one concern is competition. The commerce platform market is pretty crowded, right? Lots of big players vying for that market share.
Oh, yeah, big time.
So they really need to stay ahead of the game.
Yeah, no kidding. And we can't forget about the whole macroeconomic environment.
Right.
Inflation, rising interest rates, potential recessions, all of that could impact consumer spending, which ultimately hits the businesses that Lightspeed serves.
Absolutely. Those are factors outside of their control.
Yeah, for sure.
But it makes their focus on profitability even more important.
So build a resilient business that can weather those storms.
Exactly.
Okay, so we've got the good, the bad, and the uncertain.
The joys of investing.
I know you're not in the business of making predictions.
Nope.
But based on everything we've discussed, what's your overall feeling about Lightspeed's future prospects?
You know, I'm cautiously optimistic.
Okay.
I think their strategic shift seems well thought out. They're clearly committed to execution, and their financial performance is trending in the right direction.
Cautiously optimistic.
Yeah.
There's definitely a potential there, but it's still early days. Speaking of early days, remember they mentioned an upcoming Capital Markets Day in March. That's where they'll be sharing more about their long-term plans.
Yeah. Definitely going to be a must-watch event.
For anyone interested in Lightspeed.
Absolutely.
Okay. So we've covered a lot of ground here.
We have.
Strong Q3 performance, bold new strategy, some potential risks, a lot of anticipation for what's to come. But before we move on, let's talk about something exciting for investors.
Okay.
Lightspeed announced a massive share buyback program,
Oh, yeah.
which always gets people buzzing.
Definitely.
Can you break down what that means and why it matters?
Sure. So they're planning to spend up to $400 million buying back their own stock.
Okay.
Now, imagine you own a piece of a company, and that company decides to buy back some of its shares.
Yeah.
What happens?
Well, if they're buying back their own shares, there are fewer shares available, right?
Exactly.
Doesn't that usually drive the price up?
Exactly.
Okay.
It's a way for them to return value to shareholders, and it also signals confidence in their own future.
Okay.
It basically says, we believe our stock is undervalued, and we're willing to put our money where our mouth is.
So it's a positive sign for investors.
Yeah, I think so.
It shows the company believes in its own growth story,
Uh-huh.
and they're willing to take action to support the stock price.
Exactly.
Okay, that makes sense.
And remember, this is just the beginning of their transformation.
Right.
They've got a lot more in store.
All right, so that's a wrap for part one of our deep dive into Lightspeed Commerce.
Ooh.
We've covered their impressive Q3 performance,
Yeah.
their bold strategic shift, and even hinted at some exciting development on the horizon.
Stay tuned for part 2, where we'll unpack some of the finer details,
Oh, yeah.
explore some potential risks and opportunities,
Okay.
and even venture into the realm of this is not financial advice.
Oh, I can't wait for that.
It's going to be
I
fun.
don't want to miss it. Nope.
Okay, so let's pick up where we left off and really dig into some of those specifics. Remember that impressive software revenue growth we talked about?
Oh, yeah, that 9% year-over-year jump, highest in 2 years.
Exactly. Let's unpack what's driving that.
Yeah, 9% jump is pretty impressive, especially in such a competitive market. What's their secret sauce? Are they just slashing prices to get customers?
Actually, it's quite the opposite.
Right.
They've been rolling out these new software modules that businesses are really finding valuable.
Okay.
Like, for example, they've got this Retail Insights module,
Okay.
and it's helping retailers boost their profit margin
I see.
and making sure they've got, the products people actually want in stock.
So they're not just giving businesses tools, they're actually helping them use those tools to make more money.
Exactly. And on the hospitality side, their new kitchen display system
Okay.
is helping restaurants really streamline their operations,
So everything runs smoother.
Yeah, exactly. Makes things run smoother, improves that whole customer experience.
Okay.
And they've also been strategically adjusting their pricing
Okay.
to reflect all this value they're bringing.
Oh, wait, but hold on. Higher prices. Doesn't that usually mean unhappy customers?
Surprisingly, no.
Really?
And I think it shows that businesses are recognizing the value they're getting from Lightspeed.
Interesting.
They're willing to pay for it.
Okay.
Plus, they're focusing on those bigger businesses, the ones with higher transaction volumes.
Okay, so the ones who are already doing well.
Exactly. They're more likely to invest in tools that can help them grow even further.
Right. Makes sense. If you're already successful, you're more likely to pay a premium for something that gives you an edge.
Exactly.
But let's shift gears for a second.
Okay.
Remember that Lightspeed Capital program, the one that's helping businesses get loans?
Yeah.
They're seeing some incredible growth there.
Oh, absolutely. Doubling revenue year to date, that's not something to ignore.
No, not at all.
Shows they're really tapping into a need among businesses, especially now.
Yeah, especially with everything going on in the economy these days.
Yeah. Access to capital can be a real challenge,
For sure.
and they're making it easier.
It's like they're becoming that one-stop shop
Right.
for everything a business needs. Software, payments, and now even financing. They're building a whole ecosystem.
They are, and that brings us back to their right to win strategy.
Right.
By focusing on these specific markets, offering this comprehensive suite of solutions, they're becoming the go-to partner for businesses in those sectors.
Yeah.
It's a pretty powerful position to be in.
Okay, I'm starting to get the bigger picture,
Good.
but, got to be realistic here.
Of course.
Lightspeed has had its ups and downs.
Yeah, definitely.
What are some of those risks, those concerns that investors should be keeping an eye on?
Well, one thing that's always top of mind is competition.
Okay.
We talked about it before.
Yeah.
Commerce platform market is crowded.
Right.
They've got some pretty fierce rivals out there.
Oh, yeah, big time.
So they need to stay ahead of the curve. They need to keep innovating.
Keep innovating, yeah. Any other red flags?
Well, you can never forget about the macroeconomic environment.
Right, of course.
Inflation,
Yeah.
rising interest rates, the possibility of a recession. All that could impact consumer spending, which ultimately puts pressure on the businesses that Lightspeed serves.
Right, that trickle-down effect.
Exactly.
Those are things they can't really control.
Nope.
So how can they mitigate those risks?
Well, I think their focus on profitability is key.
Okay.
Building a resilient business that can weather those storms.
Right, if things slow down, they need to be able to handle it.
Exactly. They also need to keep innovating, keep differentiating themselves.
So they stand out from the crowd.
Yeah, make sure they're offering something unique and valuable.
Right, so it's a balancing act.
It is.
They need to stay ahead of the competition. They need to navigate all those macroeconomic uncertainties. And they need to keep delivering value to their customers.
Yeah, it's a lot.
It's a challenge.
But, I think based on what we've seen so far, their strategic shift seems well considered. They're focused on execution, and their financial performance is moving in the right direction.
Cautiously optimistic.
Yeah.
There's potential there, but it's still early days. But before we wrap up part 2, let's have some fun.
Oh, I like fun.
Let's dive into our This Is Not Financial Advice segment.
Okay.
What outrageous but plausible trade idea have you cooked up today?
All right, lay it on me.
Okay, here's the pitch. Remember how Lightspeed is doubling down on retail in North America, and they have that big capital markets day coming up in March?
Yeah.
What if
What if?
they announce some major partnership or some crazy product launch at that event?
Okay.
That sends the stock soaring.
Okay, I'm listening.
So imagine this. Lightspeed reveals they've teamed up with, Amazon, or maybe they're unveiling some revolutionary AI-powered retail platform.
Right.
The market goes wild, investors get excited, and boom, the stock price jumps.
It's definitely a possibility.
Right.
They've been hinting at some exciting developments.
Exactly.
So a big announcement wouldn't be a huge surprise.
Exactly. So here's the play. Buy call options with a strike price slightly above the current stock price.
Okay.
An expiry date a few weeks after the event.
Mm-hmm.
If the stock jumps like we're predicting,
Yeah.
those options could be worth a fortune.
That's a bold move, but high risk, high reward.
Of course. Of course. This is all purely hypothetical, folks.
Of course.
Just a fun thought experiment.
Yeah.
Do your own research, consult with a financial advisor,
Yes, please.
and don't blame us if it all goes wrong.
Please don't.
This is for entertainment purposes only.
Exactly. Always fun to think about those what if scenarios.
Right.
But remember, investing involves real risks.
Always, always.
Okay. Disclaimer over.
Disclaimer over. All right, that wraps up part 2 of our Lightspeed deep dive.
Wow, we covered a lot.
We explored those drivers behind their strong performance,
Hmm.
unpacked some of those risks and opportunities,
Hmm.
and even ventured into the world of speculative trading, just for fun, of course.
Always for fun.
In part 3, we're going to shift gears a bit.
Okay.
We're going to explore some of the broader implications of Lightspeed's strategy.
Interesting.
What does their focus on specific markets mean for the future of retail and hospitality?
Big questions.
And what are some of the potential blind spots they need to be aware of?
Ooh, good stuff.
Stay tuned. We've got more Lightspeed insights coming your way.
Can't wait.
Okay, so we've talked about all the numbers, we've looked at their strategy, and we even had some fun with hypothetical trades.
Always fun.
But let's zoom out for a minute,
Okay.
Think bigger picture here.
You mean like the implications of their right to win strategy? Focusing on just retail in North America and hospitality in Europe, what does that mean for those industries as a whole?
Exactly. They're not just playing the game, they're trying to change the rules.
Right.
By giving these businesses such powerful tools and solutions, Lightspeed is shaping the way we shop and dine.
It's true, yeah. Think about it, the more efficient those businesses become, the better it is for us as consumers.
Mhm.
Short lines, personalized recommendations, easy payments. Lightspeed's a part of making that happen.
It's like they're not just a software company, they're becoming case makers, trendsetters.
I like that, yeah. Their success is tied to the success of whole industries.
Exactly. But by focusing so intently on just these 2 areas, doesn't that feel a little risky? What if they miss out on opportunities elsewhere?
That's a good point, yeah. It's a classic trade-off, specialization versus diversification.
Yeah,
They're betting big that their expertise in these 2 markets will pay off.
but it does limit their exposure.
For sure.
Imagine, like, the booming e-commerce scene in Asia, or all those cool new retail concepts in South America. Are they missing out?
It's a risk, for sure. It'll be interesting to see if they stay this focused or if they branch out later on.
Right, maybe they'll do some partnerships or acquisitions.
Could be.
Who knows what the future holds? But for now, they're laser focused. It's up to them to prove this approach works.
Exactly. Only time will tell. But hey, we've had a lot to think about with this deep dive.
We have.
Lightspeed is at a really interesting point in their journey. Bold moves, a clear vision.
It's been fascinating to unpack all of this, and I can't wait to see what happens next. But before we go, I want to leave our listeners with one final thought.
Okay, shoot.
In a world where businesses are bombarded with all these new technologies, all these solutions,
Oh, yeah, it's overwhelming.
the real key to success is choosing the right partners,
Right.
the right tools that really align with your specific needs and goals.
Focus on what matters.
Don't just chase the shiny new object.
Yeah, find the solutions that actually help you grow.
Couldn't have said it better myself. So, to all our listeners out there, stay curious, stay informed, and keep exploring this incredible world of commerce.
Absolutely. And who knows, maybe Lightspeed will surprise us all again.
Maybe they will. That's it for our deep dive into Lightspeed Commerce. Thanks for joining us.
Always a pleasure. See you next time.